Nerds. Pretty 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 Nerds.
Hi guys, welcome to the Pretty Nerdz podcast. This is your girl Nay.
And this is your girl Falan DeAnn.
All right, so Falan DeAnn, we don't have a lot going on, too much to talk about, so this probably will be a pretty short show. But how's it been going for you?
Everything has been good. I'm bored, of course. Finally got sent home from work, so I've been working from home, which is the absolute worst. But I'm not going to complain, I guess.
Yeah.
How about?
I mean, I've kind of been, for me, I was supposed to start working from home this week, but their tech was having issues, so I haven't been able to work from home. I've been having to go into the office. Pretty much majority of the whole office is at home, so it's just been like me and maybe 1, 2, 3, people spread out throughout the office, so it hasn't been too bad. So I don't have a fear of like being close to anybody or people being near me. But nonetheless, I'm still hopefully they sent me something to my house so that hopefully it will resolve my tech issue. So I'm going to test it out today and then see if it works, and I'll be working from home. Because I'd much rather do that than, just risk it as far as being in the office anyway. Even if there's just a couple of people in there, you know what I mean?
I said, how's everything where you live? Like, I know places are a little more, well, I'm not going to say frequent there because they're pretty frequent here too, since we have more testing available. So.
Well, I will say that, I've been definitely on higher alert now. Like, at first I wasn't like, well, I'm not going to say I wasn't taking it seriously, but at first I was like, as long as I keep my social distancing, blah, 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 I should be okay. I should be able to still go out and do, my groceries, blah, 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 simple stuff like that. Like I was still going to the gym, whatever, because the gyms haven't closed yet and everything like that. But where I am, the cases have like doubled fairly quickly. So it's like a high amount of people have caught the coronavirus in caution, start doing at-home workouts, which I hate because I am a gym rat all the way through and through. Like, I much rather prefer to work out in the gym than at home, so it's been driving me nuts. But I've been trying some different home workouts. It is so sad that I'm just excited just to have toilet paper, man. But because definitely was coming down to my last couple of rolls. But again, my dad MVP stood in line at Sam's Club for me and got me some tissue paper. I don't know. I mean, I feel like as far as this whole thing is concerned, I'm hoping that, because they're supposed to be having a 2-week, everybody just, at home or whatever like that, basically through the rest of March. And then at the beginning of April, everybody's supposed to be like returning back to work and blah, 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 blah. I'm hoping that once that occurs, that maybe people will stop stockpiling shit and you know what I mean, and I can go to the grocery store like regular, and like I was lucky I was able to find water yesterday. I went out and I found water, so I'm good on that note, and I already had like cleaning supplies here, but it's just one of those things where it's like now you have to, like, if you're one of those people like me who store and I can't find nothing, what the fuck am I gonna do if I actually run the fuck out? So I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, hopefully in these next 2 weeks, things will calm down. People will stop, hoarding and stockpiling every fucking thing. So if I want to go to the grocery store and buy like some, some ground turkey or some chicken or something, at least there'll be some fucking chicken. The goddamn grocery store. Shit. I don't know. It's crazy.
Definitely. I will say I have seen, I guess, like the trend is kind of moving where I was able to go in the store today. Like I saw ground beef. I saw some like chicken was like available, which this one lady had like a cart of like 6 or 7 fucking packs of chicken. I'm like, ma'am, just put it back so somebody else can possibly have some. But so I was like, maybe it's trending now where everybody done kind of hoarded what they was going to hoard. And, you can go back to, like, actually having groceries to buy. So that's my hope.
I've noticed that, like, in places where the cases aren't as bad, they've been able to find, like I said, my dad, they've only had one case that he's in, one confirmed case. So I've noticed that they're starting to be able to find things more and more. So, in all honesty, I probably think I'm probably just going to have to lean on people in different areas in order to get supplies until, like, the cases in my county calm down. Because instead of trending downwards like everybody else, we're trending upwards. Unfortunately, I think they're gonna have to do like they're doing in like where they've done a mandatory, everybody got to be in the house, like curfews and shit like that. Because at this point, if everybody else is trending down, we're the only ones in the state who are trending up. There's a problem, you know.
I'm not gonna say y'all by yourself because I think we're just so many people here with like, oh, the National Guard is here. I'm like, they're just here dropping off supplies. Chill out. But we have seen like a huge spike in cases like overnight.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm definitely thinking we're going to see like a lot more because we are getting a lot of more tests in, and it's a lot of more test places. So I definitely think we're going to see that. Like the mayor here, finally, at first it was like, hey, like this is one time like I would ride with the government and be like, listen, they're trying to give you kind of like freedom to still kind of move about if you're smart with it. Like, hey, don't go to places, you know, in social gatherings where it's like a large amount of people. Don't do this, don't do that. And you still have people that's just like, oh, I still want to go to the club. Like I passed like this little Mexican spot where they have like a live DJ. It was, what was that, Thursday night? And it was popping. I'm like, what are y'all doing? So finally, the mayor here was just like, you know what, shut it all down. So, you know.
Yeah. Absolute craziness. But hopefully, like I said, we'll start to see this trend down at least a little bit. I'm hoping that as they start to get more testing, more tests available, people start to understand that they're saying that with the virus, that, you know, even if you contract it, you can most likely deal with it at home. You know what I mean? As long as you quarantine yourself, you know, do the correct little meds or whatever like that, you can deal with it at the house. You do not have to be at the hospital or like that, because they're finding that a lot of people are just, oh my god, I'm sick, so they're running to the hospital. And it's like, you may not have it then, but once you get to the hospital, you're going to run into people who actually have it, and then you're going to contract it. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, you can tell the difference between a dry cough. I think that would be one of the biggest indicators where I wouldn't necessarily run to the hospital, but I would definitely monitor myself, because I'm like, you know, a wet cough and a dry cough, there's a very big difference. And I'm like, even when you're getting over the flu, your cough changes from dry to wet. So I'm like, it's just things like that I'm like, you know, don't run. This is not a time to run to the hospital for a stomach ache. It's not a time to run to the hospital to try to confirm that you're pregnant. If you know you're pregnant, listen, just book an appointment with your OBGYN and move on. You know, like stuff like that. Don't even just skip over it. And I just won't want to be in the air. Like, I don't like going to the hospital because I'm like, even before now, I'm like, people in there got the flu. And I've had and I don't say it like, the flu. I say it as, I've had the flu before. I felt like the lowest of the low. And I wanted again.
Yeah. Big facts.
And I'm like, and then you got to think about the people that are there, as far as the nurses. They're overloaded. They don't have enough supplies. They are literally re-wearing masks and some other things. So you just got to, as much as we can do to take the load off the system. Because I think at this point, as much as the government can do, it now falls on society to be like, okay, let me do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. And definitely start to, and just literally take it serious. You know what I mean? Because I still see a lot of people who are running with the whole conspiracy theory bullshit and all that. And I'm just like, dude, at this point, ain't no conspiracy about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Even if you want to run with the whole government and unleash it on people, so what? Shit, it's still a thing. It's still a virus. You know what I mean?
Now, because I'm like, okay, if you run with the conspiracy, now what? You know what I'm saying? So now it's time for be like, okay, if you believe in conspiracy theory, and most of the conspiracy theories that I've seen or theorists is that, oh, it's not a real disease. And I'm like, how is it not a real disease? And I was like, it's like part of me, of course I'm not happy about it, but I'm like, just to see more people like that are not celebrities coming out saying, hey, I have it, I've contracted, this is how I'm dealing with it. And just seeing that normal, like people that we know in our communities, like, okay, they're fighting with this right now. And I'm like, it's just heartbreaking for, like when you see a nurse at St. Jude tested positive, those children cannot, like, that's where it comes down to society taking the responsibility, saying that, listen, we have to do better. Because we know all of those children that are at St. Jude have compromised immune systems. They can't afford to catch anything.
Exactly.
You know, so I was like, it's just things like that. So.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and jump into hot topics for this week. I guess kind of staying in that the coronavirus realm. I saw a story where it said that Lewis Hamilton, he was in contact with both Idris Elba and Justin Trudeau's wife about 2 weeks ago. Lewis, on the other hand, he made the decision that he was not going to be tested for the virus. He instead decided that they tested positive, that he was going to self-quarantine. So he's been in self-quarantine for the past 18 days. He said that because he felt like he has enough money that, you know what I mean, he can be away from people for a long period of time and not have any issues. He doesn't have to work. You know what I mean? He said, so it's no need for him to have them waste the test on him when so many people who don't have the options that he has can't afford to get a test.
And that's like, I like, I'm kind of like on the fence about that. Like, I get his justification, and I don't like, it's nothing wrong with it, but it's like, I don't know. I guess I would want to know just for the sake of knowing, so I would know, okay, if I do have it, these are the steps that I need to take, because you can't, you know, people are like, okay, you can take this, and now the CDC and doctors are saying, no, don't take, you know, this medicine, but you can take this, and I don't know. Like, I get what he's saying, because and then so many people are like, well, how does the rich people get tested and we don't, and blah, blah. So I get it, but yeah.
Well, I mean, from everything that they are saying as far as doctors, a lot of the doctors are saying that it is something that can be managed at home. You know what I mean? Like, it's essentially, they're saying that the majority of the people who get it are asymptomatic, so they don't have any symptoms at all. They tend to typically feel good. They're more like maybe a cold, or like a little maybe severer than a cold, or like maybe borderline on the flu. So that's why they're saying if you symptoms, the first thing you should do is just reach out to your doctor's office and go through how you're feeling with them on the phone, and then they'll make the decision if they want to bring you in to their office to test, or if they don't have tests, send you to a testing site. Because they said a lot of what they're seeing happening is that people are just, oh crap, I have a sneeze or a cough, or I have a fever, and they're running out to these testing sites and getting in contact with people who actually do have it, and then that's how they're getting the virus.
And that's what I definitely don't want to, like, in like local, they're saying like, oh, we have more tests available. I'm like, yeah, I don't have any symptoms, and I'm like, I know for myself, by the weather changing, the influx in weather, it's like, yeah, I'm going to be sneezing and coughing. So that's just that. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I get what he's saying. It's like, you know, I leave the resources to the people that have them. I don't know. Like, people are just, I don't know. I just wish people maybe practice some common sense. Maybe.
That's hard to ask.
Listen. So just quick story. I went to the doctor Thursday. They called me. I think they called like the Friday before, saying, hey, we implemented a new policy. Only come with yourself. No, it was like we implemented a new policy. if you have like an appointment that's not, essential, then we can just reschedule it for 4 to 6 weeks out. They called me on Monday and Wednesday to say, hey, no one else can come to this appointment with you, just yourself. They're like, when you go into the doctor's office, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. You passed 5 signs telling you no visitors beyond this point. I'm checking out. This lady was like, they're telling her husband, boyfriend, whatever, like, hey, you can't come to this visit. And she was like, what? I'm like, did you miss all the signs and the messages that they left?
Oh, Lord.
And I was like, and she was like, babe, I'm sorry. And I'm like, what? You had all of these warnings telling you don't bring anybody else but yourself. And I'm like, you understand that even though you're coming into like your gynecologist or your obstetrician, that there are women in here that have had surgery very recent and their body is trying to heal through that. And I was like, you know what? Y'all make me sick.
Yeah, because people just aren't being smart about it. You know what I mean? Cardi B, she posted saying that she thinks it's a conspiracy that all of these celebrities are coming out saying that they have it, but they don't have no symptoms, like all the NBA players and everything. She says she thinks that people are getting paid to say that they have it, even though that they don't have any symptoms, which I'm just like, some of y'all just got to get off the internet and stop speaking, because the baselessness in which y'all talking about don't make no sense. For one, of course, a bunch of NBA players are testing positive for it because they were actually playing. The NFL, they're not going to have a shit ton of cases because they were in off season. You know what I mean? But there have been soccer players, hockey players, other sports that were actually active and, have a bunch of fans in season when the playing was occurring. So that to me, I'm just like, are getting paid to say that they have like, what kind of, I don't.
And I think that's kind of irresponsible for her as well, given her platform and how many followers she has. That it's like, and I think more celebrities probably come out and talk about it, because when you read the comments on like Shade Room and Ball Alert and other blogs, it's like people like, no one really has this, or I don't know anybody that has it. Be like, you probably do, and they probably had like, oh, I went to the doctor and they told me I had a respiratory infection, and they sent me home antibiotics. I'm like, we have to really think about that. We just got the name for it, like a month ago, maybe?
Yeah.
But I'm like, there are many people now that's like, oh my gosh, I had this, infection that was here, that I had to deal with longer than the flu, but I tested negative for the flu, but I had like these symptoms. So I'm like, it definitely, could have been around. But I think just for Cardi B, it's just like, bro, you have too large of a platform to do that. Like, that's irresponsible on your behalf, even if you kind of thought it was a conspiracy or they're being paid. And I'm like, how much are they paying celebrities that are worth millions upon millions upon to say I got the coronavirus?
Exactly.
Be like, this is not like some $30 million deal. What really do they profit from saying, hey, I have coronavirus? And I'm like, even from research, it shows that from 20 to 54, I think, are the largest carriers that have no symptoms.
Yeah, which makes sense though.
Yeah. So it's like, those are the people that go, and I'm like, that's the reason why it's our responsibility being the younger generation saying, hey, let me stay my ass in the house. And I also like point out to people, they were like, oh, children can't catch it. I'm like, listen, what the CDC call a child and what we call a child are two different things. The CDC classifies children from 0 to 9.
And I mean,
when us is the other.
They've had cases, right? Because I know here the youngest case they had was like 11, and I think they also just recently said like a baby caught it too. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, a baby did have it, and I'm like, they're saying like the 0 to 9 do have like a 0 fatality rate, but not 10 to 19. So I'm like, those are the things that we have to think about. I'm like, these are young children that may have juvenile diabetes, asthma, all of this. They can't afford to catch that.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I've just seen a lot of people like I just want to live my life. How you gonna live it? Because I'm like the numbers that we have are very raw, and they're just reporting the cases, the recovery, and the deaths at this point. Both of them can rise or decrease at any so what? Because I'm like New York is not looking pretty for them.
Not at all.
Like the article that I just saw from the New York Post was like heartbreaking, where there was like one person has died every hour in New York.
It's crazy out there, man.
So I was like, and you really think, like, I've seen people saying, like, oh, this is just to control us. I'm like, first of all, we have always been controlled. You go to work when somebody tell you to go to work. You get paid when they tell you you're gonna get paid. So it's like you don't have that much control over your life. Like they literally tell you where you can and cannot go. Having a passport is not a guarantee that you can leave out of this country.
Yep, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So like you're still controlled like when you think about it, but I'm like, so you think big businesses want to close down and control you and lose millions of dollars every day that they close?
Exactly. You think the stock market is enjoying, you know what I'm saying? All them people is enjoying seeing all them losses.
Right, to control you making $17 an hour. If that. No, sir.
Girl, a hot mess. I guess trying to see what else is going on. During this whole little pandemic, we have seen a huge rise in these damn TikTok videos. People have been going crazy with this TikTok shit and challenges and everything else. Hey, I ain't mad at it. You know, it's all fun and games. I'm happy to see people having a good time, I guess, enjoying themselves, still finding ways to connect with their friends and family, even if they can't be in the same space. So, you know, I saw somebody was on there they have like taking a shot with each other challenge or I don't know, whatever, push-ups and shit like that. So, salute to, I guess, everybody who is just finding ways to still stay connected to each other and everything like that. I saw Netflix announce where you can do a Netflix party where you and your friends can sit and watch a show together and like comment and interact and all that jazz. So hey, there's definitely a lot of things going on during this time. I've seen a couple of artists, Anthony Hamilton, Sway Lee, who have been putting on concerts on their lives. DJ D Nice has been every day going live and just having what he's calling a quarantine party, a quarantine club, and every day it's been going up. The numbers have been going up for people who've just been joining the live, and he's just spinning, just everybody having a good time, laughing, joking, saying, passing jokes back and forth and shit like that. So just, good times, people trying to find a way to stay connected, I guess, to people, for all the people who said they hate social media. I guess they don't hate social media so much now because it's actually functioning the way it's supposed to have, you know what I mean? Originally function what it was originally for. So people are actually socially connecting, even though they can't be physically in the same place. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've been enjoying social media, the foolery, of course. But for the most part, I've seen like somebody today had like their little birthday celebration on a Zoom meeting. So
yeah. So I mean, again, social media is actually being used for what social media was intended for, right? For people to be connected socially and still do events, even if they can't physically be in the same place. Which I think, in my opinion, I think is a good thing. You know what I mean? I wish maybe people would learn from this and actually just stick with using it for what it's intended. But I think that's maybe too much of a wish on my end. I don't know.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's probably once we get out of quarantine.
It's gonna go back to the same.
Same foolishness.
Also, you were saying about Tori Spelling and her daughter because she made up some character for her daughter.
So the daughter had on like these little Cheetos and fingernails and like a bandana on her head. And she captioned with Days kept Quisha and her Cheeto extension nails. So, of course, when she was called out for her racism, um, she went on the defense and was like, I'm sorry. Um, her daughter watches Martin and she loves Shanae. So I'm like, well, why you just didn't say Shanae? Why did you have to make up a name? You know, like, no, it don't work for me, sis. Because I'm like, why Matt Quisha?
Yeah.
It couldn't still been Hattie.
Yeah. I agree with you. She could have kept her same name, or she could have put some context around it. I mean, I feel like some folks just do shit. I don't know. Listen. I can't even come up with defenses for these.
And it was like people that was like, well, people know your heart, and why are people so sensitive? I'm like, people are not so sensitive. You can have fun. You can dress up other people. Like, you can dress up and be like, oh, okay, Hattie wanted to put on Cheeto nails. Not she is dressing up as Matt Quisha. And if she was so inspired by Shanae, why you just didn't say this is her Shanae, impersonation? Yeah. Why was it a point to make a new name?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I'm like, y'all are doing too much. We in quarantine. Just chill out.
Yeah, I definitely think that quarantine is much harder for like these rich and famous folks because they actually have the ability to quote quarantine. Like the rest of us, like me, you, like you said, you just have been able to, work from home and, not have to go out to the office, and me the same. And a lot of people are still having to just go into the office or stuff like that. But like with these, that they literally don't have shit to do. Like most of their whole jobs and things are based socially, whether it be doing concerts or in shows and making appearances at clubs or red carpets or whatnot like that, or on film sets or things like that. And so literally when all that shit shuts down, they don't have shit to do but sit in a $1 million homes and get on the internet
and do bullshit.
And do bullshit basically. So I think they're probably having a much more difficult time with it than the rest of us, because I mean, for a lot of us it's still business as fucking usual. I will say though, I've had a couple people say to me, like, because they're like, you're an introvert, how are you bored? You should be thriving during this time. And I'm like, nah, when you choose it, as opposed to when it's like almost like you don't have a choice. Because like even as an introvert, if I feel like, okay, today I just want to go things or something like that, then yeah, whatever. But I can't even do that because it's supposed to be social distancing. So you know what I mean? Like I can't just go walk in the vitamin store and check out new vitamins or new whatever. And there's still, like, by my parents' house, they still have I think it's a Barnes and Nobles or something like that that's still open, which is crazy because there's not a lot of bookstores that are still open. But I can't just go sit in the bookstore and grab, a cup of coffee and read in the book. It's a difference.
Yeah. I will say that it's different where you're like, oh, I don't feel like doing people today. You just stay at home. And then when it's like, well, even if I did want to be bothered, I can't.
Yeah, exactly. So that is all I have for hot topics. Do you have any other hot topics? Anything else you want to talk about?
Nope, that is all for me.
All right, so let's go ahead and move into the relationship portion of the show. So, first, before we get into our new relationship questions this week, I actually have an old relationship question that I want to bring up to you, right? I actually asked this on one of the shows that I did solo, That would be a good question to get your opinion on, since you are the married one in our bunch. So the question was, or it was, that I had from the previous show was, a lot of like that who are married are saying that they are choosing to live in separate houses now. Like, would you be open to living separately from your spouse? Why or why not?
Absolutely not. I just feel like that is something like, okay, us being married is like, we're in this thing. Like, that's almost, I don't know. Like, for me, I feel like that we're still courting each other. And I recognize that like people still need their space. And I think last week, and I don't know where I saw it, where they were saying like when you move in with somebody, it's always like this battle of like ownership, because it's not yours essentially for the person that's moving in. Like that I can kind of see, but I'm not staying separate from my spouse. It's like if we're married, then we're gonna be together in this. Like I'm not separating from you to go and sleep at another house. Like that to me just gives off, oh, we're just dating. I don't know, like that's just weird to me. I don't know why people want to do that. And I like, for my husband, I can't even sleep on the sofa. He like, come on, it's time to go to bed. So trying to sleep at another house, like I can't. That would be an absolute no for me. Like that's just weird. And I know, like I just, yeah, that's just weird.
Well, see, good. See, it's good that we got a married person's perspective, because my perspective was I was on the fence. I wouldn't necessarily say that I wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I would do it. Like I was still like, I see both points and both sides of it. You know. So, like I said, it's good to get a married person's perspective, because I'm a single person. So at this point, I'm not thinking as a married person. I'm thinking as a single person of what I would like to see, be comfortable with. So,
Now, like dating, I'm like, you gotta go home, or either I'm going home. But I can't imagine being married and being like, oh, okay, bye. Like, how do you say good night to each other? That's weird.
hey, man, I don't know. But it is definitely, that is kind of like they're saying that's the newest trend, I guess, in the whole marriage, their spiritual connections, whatever. As I said on that show, because I know everybody has different names. A lot of people don't necessarily call themselves married anymore. Some people say that they're spiritual partners or whatever. So whatever you call it, that's what we're referring to with that question. All right, so let's go ahead and move into this week's relationship questions.
Alrighty, you want me to go first, or?
Well, yeah, I'll go first. Let me go ahead and jump and get this one over with, and then we'll finish it out, because I bet you people are sick of hearing me talk. So, my relationship question for this week is: came to you and asked, said that they wanted to spice the relationship up and that they wanted to invite someone else to the bedroom, so start having threesomes. Would you be down or would you not? Why or why not?
That again, that's absolutely no. Because I feel like our bedroom is for us and us only, and I don't feel like that I need assistance. And if I do need assistance, tell me, but I don't think it should be from another person. Um, and not that I'm insecure, but I just don't want to see my husband having sex with another woman. Like, I'm sorry, that's just not. And if we need to spice the relationship up, and that's the only way that we can do it, then we just gonna have to. You're gonna just gonna have to go be with the other person, because yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it is insecure, maybe, I don't know, but I just can't see myself offering my husband up to another woman. Like, oh yeah, you can have sex with her. No.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
So for me, I will say it's a no also. And the reason is because I will 100% fully admit, you can call it insecurity. Me personally, I just call it possessiveness, jealousy. Like, I can't do it. I cannot like willingly share a person that I want to be like, that I'm with. Like, I just can't do it. Like, I know that people say, well, there's probably dudes that's cheated on you, and but you're right. There probably has been. And when I found out about it, they'll tell you the relationship was done, because I'm not here for it. It's not my cup of tea. There are a lot of people who engage in polygamy and have polygamous relationships and are comfort. Why do I feel like I just used the fucking wrong term? Polyamorous relationships. Lord. Anyway, yeah, and they're comfortable with it, but it ain't for me. Like, not only that, I'm one of those people who I like shit to be simple, and I just feel like the more people who are involved in some shit, the more complicated it become. And I'm just like, who want to deal with all of them extra? Because you already just think about, like, when you're in a relationship with one other person, right? There's emotions and shit that goes into just that relationship and making that work. Imagine if you have to add extra people into it. I don't want to deal with all that, you know? But again, it works for some people, but definitely not for me.
Definitely not.
All right. So go ahead, and what's your question this week?
So my question this week is, when asked about your previous relationships, how do you respond?
Okay. Do you want me to go first, or you want to go answer that one first?
Go first, I guess.
Okay. So previous relationships, it depends on what you're asking. Like, I never talk about, like, you know how some people have that conversation, like, how many bodies do you have and stuff like that. I don't feel like that's an appropriate question to ask. Like, I don't think that should matter in y'all relationship talk. Who you slept with, like, that to me is a question that I don't think is, it speaks more to insecurity than it does as far as like how I respond or react in relationships. Now, if you're just asking me, like, why did your last relationship end, or what did you learn from your last previous relationships or shit like that, absolutely, I'm here for it. We can talk about it. I'm an open book. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any issue with that. But like, if it's like weird shit, like I said, if it's like da 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 da, or was sex with him better than it is with me, or some weird shit like that, nah, I ain't here for it. What about yourself?
I guess as far as like relationships, like like you said, like, how did your last relationship end? What made you walk away? Whatever. I always, with questions like that, try to keep it sweet and simple. It's like, listen, this is what happened. I'm not, if it wasn't, I don't try to come off it. I guess it's like bitter. Because more than likely, if I'm dating, that means I'm kind of like over it. But definitely not bitter. Some previous like relationship questions I won't answer, especially if it's around like sex. I feel like even if you ask me about somebody else's sex game, it don't matter. Like, previous sexual experiences, that I just feel like, why are you asking? Because it doesn't matter. Like, the only thing you really need to be asking is like, hey, what's your STD record looking like? What's your results? But yeah, but for everything else, I try to keep it short and simple as possible. Like, hey, well, what did he do? That don't matter. All of that stuff like that. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for me. Like, most people, like, why your last relationship being? We want compatible. That's it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely feel like, like I said, I'm okay with questions like, why did your last relationship end, or what kind of lessons did you learn? Because I feel like that's more about the person, me, than the actual relationship. You know what I mean? Like, that speaks more to them trying to get to know me as a person, as opposed to what my last relationship was like. But the shit that's like like I said, the weirdo type questions, nah, skip it, save it. I don't like to deal with things that, like I said, that speak to like insecurities and shit like that, because I feel like, because I'm like, why would you want to know that? You know what I mean? Like that, whatever sex I had with somebody previously, in no shape or form is gonna, affect with you, or because you're different people, because we're different people, unless it was some traumatic type shit. You know what I mean? Obviously, then you're gonna want to talk about it and shit like that. But if it was just some like regular consensual, sex, if it ain't no traumatic shit, then we don't need to speak on it.
Yeah. That's what I feel. So I don't know. It's kind of weird.
All right. So, any new music, TV, books, anything else you want to get off your chest?
Nothing else for me. Music, I'm just on my old classics. Still haven't got a chance to listen to Janae Aiko yet. That's on my to-do list. And I'm definitely going to check out the Madam C.J. Walker movie on Netflix. But that's about it for me. I know next week I'll have something exciting. But yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm here for that. A little cryptic.
That was just the idea that we were going with me watching.
Okay, I'm excited. Okay, I'm ready. But we will definitely, that'll be dope. I'm telling you, we coming up with some good content, man. But as far as like books, TV, and music, I'm ashamed to admit that I've just now listened to Jendaya. Is it Jendaya? Jadena. Damn, I'm slow today. Jadena's album 85 to Africa. Really good album. Susu is my record. I also haven't fully listened to Janae Aiko's new record. I've listened to a couple of tracks, but I haven't like just sat with it enough to kind of give a critique on it. TV, I'm with you. I have on my list to check out the Madam CJ Walker thing on Netflix, but haven't got to it yet. I'm during the week while I'm sitting in the house working from home. Who knows? Or maybe over the weekend. We'll see. I'll definitely get to it so we could talk about it on the show. But aside from that, I'm with you. I haven't done anything really new or whatever like that. All right, so that is pretty much it for us. I'm going to give a quick, short nerd moment of the week. For my nerd moment of the week, it's just some kind of more recommendations for you guys to check out while you are quarantined, or if you want to have some Netflix parties, you can check those out. You can check these out on Netflix. Black Lightning, the new season, season 3. Yeah, season 3 has now been added. It's on Netflix. So if you haven't ever watched Black Lightning at all, you can go through and watch all of the seasons. Playing currently on Netflix. The Arrow full series is on Netflix. Seasons 1 through 8. So you can go through and watch that. If you watch All American, also, it's not a nerd show, but it's just a really, really good show. You can go through and watch that because it's been added on Netflix as well, seasons 1 and 2. The new show with Reese Witherspoon and my girl Kerry Washington. Show right now is blanking in my mind, but I know you guys have seen the previews for it. So, but it is currently available streaming on Hulu, so you can go check that out as well. I'm hearing good things. I haven't started it yet, but I shall go in and start it. Also, if you have Hulu, the Wu-Tang series is still on there. So go through and stream that if you're interested. And yeah, that is my nerd moment of the week. Anything else on your end?
Nothing else for me.
All right, so I want to say thank you so much for you guys for listening. Stay tuned to the website. We will have a blog post up within the week. I'm working on that right now. Stay tuned to our YouTube page, Pretty Nerdz Podcast. That's nerds with the Z. So just, follow us on all of our social accounts and just stay tuned with us because we really have some really good content coming for you guys. So, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye, guys.
Bye.